Watch Caitlin Clark get a little separation there. See, when the hand extends from the body, that is usually when they call an offensive foul.
Mitchell into the lane. Can't pop it in. Boston flings it out. Clark a deep three. You bet!
You then become a little bit superstitious and wear them.
Clark lays it in. Caitlin Clark's first points of 2026.
The most dangerous player in the WNBA isn't the fastest or the strongest, and she doesn't even need to get all the way to the rim. She just needs a few feet of space. Because just seconds ago, Caitlin Clark pulled up from a distance most players wouldn't even consider, and before the ball even reached the basket, thousands of fans were already on their feet. Think about that for a second. Not after the shot went in, but before it went in. That level of belief is almost unheard of in professional basketball, and it's forcing a conversation that many people still don't want to have.
Good help from the weak side. That's what I'm talking about.
Oh, he's such a high percentage shooter. Here she is out on Caitlin, who shoots over her and hits the three. He saw her do it.
Brink lobbing it inside. Hamby denied. It's 20.
Here it is again. Caitlin just uses that speed to blow by the...
And by the end of this video, you'll understand exactly why Caitlin Clark's shooting isn't just entertaining. It may be changing the way the WNBA is played. The moment looked almost routine as Clark crossed half court, surveyed the defense, took one dribble, and launched a three to tie. Then chaos followed. The crowd erupted, teammates jumped off the bench, and social media instantly flooded with clips from every angle. But this video isn't just about one incredible three-pointer. It's about what that shot represents. Today, we're breaking down three things. First, why defenders still seem powerless against Clark's deep range despite knowing exactly what's coming. Second, the evidence showing her shooting gravity may already be among the most impactful forces in the league. And third, why one controversial claim is becoming harder and harder to dismiss every time she steps on the floor. Because this isn't just another highlight. It's another piece of evidence in a much bigger story. And once you see the numbers, the film, and the reactions, you'll understand why this debate isn't going away anytime soon.
Wheeler finds Clark from the logo. You bet!
Look at Wheeler staring to the right side, knows who's there, drop pass behind. Could be the deepest shot we've seen Caitlin Clark make as a pro.
Clark, this one was just a little bit more in rhythm. It wasn't forced. A really nice find across court from Grace Berger. Caitlin Clark.
Clark over Horston, hits a three. No bounds.
Horston's got to come with hands up. You can't let Clark see.
Let's start with the shot itself. What makes Clark's deep threes different isn't simply the distance. It's the confidence behind them. Most players treat 30 feet as an emergency option, but Clark treats it like a weapon, and that changes everything. When defenders pick her up near half court, they aren't overreacting. They're adapting to reality. The moment she crosses a logo, defenses must account for a legitimate scoring threat that stretches defensive spacing to a level few players in basketball history have been able to create. Notice what happens on this possession. The defender hesitates for just a split second, not because Clark beat her physically, but because she's worried about the shot. And that hesitation is all Clark needs. Basketball is a game of fractions, where even a fraction of a second can make all the difference.
Here is Clark, splashing home a three from way downtown. Some words with the Connecticut.
A fraction of a step, a fraction of an opening. Clark turns those tiny moments into points. And this is where the controversy begins. Critics often argue that logo threes are low-percentage basketball, and under normal circumstances, they would be right. But Caitlin Clark has spent years proving that her version of so-called bad shots are actually good shots, what many see as risky or reckless. She has turned into a reliable weapon, challenging traditional ideas about shot selection and forcing people to rethink what's possible on a basketball court.
The adjustment was going to be for Coach Sides and this team.
Clark comes back and answers.
I saw the...
That's an important distinction. The average player can't build an offense around 30-foot jumpers, but Clark can, and the evidence continues to grow. Just look at the crowd reaction. Fans weren't surprised by the shot. They were expecting it. That's what separates stars from superstars. A star makes a crowd react, while a superstar makes a crowd anticipate. And there's a major difference between the two. The arena wasn't simply celebrating a made basket. It was celebrating the possibility of witnessing something special happen once again.
Clark launches and hits!
Pure joy in the arena and forces a quick timeout.
And that's where this discussion gets interesting, because if defenses are already extending 30 feet from the basket, what happens when Clark starts consistently punishing them for doing it? The answer may be even more important than the shot itself. The deeper you dig into the numbers behind Caitlin Clark's shooting gravity, the harder it becomes to argue that she is simply another great scorer. Her impact goes beyond points on the scoreboard, influencing defensive strategies and changing the way opponents approach the game.
Rotation,
And hits!
the Caitlin Clark effect.
Pure joy in the arena and forces.
Clark working on Cunningham, gets inside. Clark gets it to go. And the
Near the 3-point line. And that's way too late
foul. Clark.
with a caliber player like herself.
Here's the reality. Most conversations about shooting focus on points, but the smartest basketball analysts focus on gravity. Gravity is the attention a player commands even when she doesn't touch the ball, and Clark's gravity is extraordinary. Watch how defenders react. Two players shade toward her, help defenders lean in her direction, and entire defensive schemes shift before the play even develops. Why? Because everyone knows what can happen. One mistake, one late closeout, or one miscommunication, and the ball is flying through the air from 30 feet away. We've seen this happen repeatedly. Not once, not twice, but over and over again. The league knows exactly what Clark wants to do, and that may be the most impressive part of all.
Had an open look from three, didn't take it. Only 3 to shoot. Gonna have to make something happen. Clark through the lane, reverses it in.
Better one here today as Clark finally hits her first on Wednesday.
One thing about Caitlin Clark, she's relentless. She's going to keep shooting that.
Like Caitlin had an opportunity to take the shot, instead drives in, and good job here after the travel to turn her back
And she's no longer surprising anyone, yet she's still creating highlights. Think about that. Defenders prepare for her all week. Coaches design game plans around her, and film sessions revolve around stopping her. Yet she still finds moments that leave entire arenas stunned. That's usually what happens when a player reaches a different tier. The truly elite don't rely on unpredictability. They dominate despite predictability. Everyone knows what's coming, yet nobody stops it anyway. And that brings us to the comparison many fans have quietly started making. The shooting influence, the crowd anticipation, and the way defenses stretch farther and farther from the basket should sound familiar, because very few players have ever changed defensive geometry the way Clark does. Every possession becomes uncomfortable, and every possession becomes a calculation. How far is too far? How aggressively should you hedge? How early should help rotate? Defenses are constantly solving problems, and Clark keeps creating new ones. One coach described defending elite shooters as exhausting because every possession demands perfect concentration. But against Clark, that challenge begins much earlier than normal. Not at the three-point line, but several feet beyond it. That's what makes defending her so difficult. And it's also why the crowd reaction matters. Fans understand something important. When Clark rises from deep, they're not watching a normal shot attempt. They're watching a moment that could instantly become the clip everyone talks about tomorrow. But here's the question nobody can avoid anymore. What does all of this actually mean for her place in the league? Because the answer explains why that one deep three had an entire arena standing before the ball even touched the net.
More than a Caitlin Clark step back. And look at Aaliyah Boston's reaction.
Let's go back to the claim from the beginning. Why do fans stand up before the shot goes in? The answer isn't hype, it's trust. They've seen it happen too many times. Great players create excitement, but legendary players create expectation. And that's where Clark is heading. The evidence keeps growing with every season, bringing more range, more confidence, more defensive attention, and more unforgettable moments. Look at the pattern: big shot, viral clip, national discussion. And then the cycle repeats again and again. That isn't random. That's influence. And influence is what ultimately separates good players from transformational players. The controversial hot take is this. Caitlin Clark's greatest weapon may not even be the three-point shot itself. It may be the fear of the three-point shot. Think about how powerful that is. Defenders react before she shoots. Fans react before she shoots. Commentators react before she shoots. And entire arenas react before she shoots. The shot changes behavior before it even happens. And very few athletes can claim that. That's why this latest moment matters. Not because it was a difficult shot, not because it exploded across social media, and not because it generated headlines, but because it revealed something bigger. People expect greatness when Clark has the ball. That expectation wasn't handed to her. She earned it one deep three at a time, one viral moment at a time, and one impossible shot at a time. So where does this leave the debate? Simple. Whether you're a fan or a critic, the evidence is becoming impossible to ignore. Her range changes defenses, her confidence changes possessions, and her presence changes arenas. And when all three happen at once, you get moments where thousands of people rise to their feet before the basketball even reaches a basket. Moments where everyone in the building knows exactly what about to happen, yet somehow still can't believe they're witnessing it. That's the real story. That's the real impact. And that's exactly why nobody expected what happened after Clark's three, even though deep down, everyone probably did.
Clark says, "You're going to give me the lane, I'm going to take it."
3 takeaways stand out from all of this. First, Caitlin Clark's range forces defenses to operate far beyond traditional limits. Second, her shooting gravity impacts entire possessions even when she doesn't score. And third, the crowd reactions aren't accidental. They're the result of repeated proof that she can deliver unforgettable moments from anywhere on the floor. Now, here's the question for you. Do you think Caitlin Clark already has the most impactful shooting gravity in the WNBA today? Drop your thoughts in the comments if you think the answer is yes. And stay tuned, because our next deep dive breaks down the one adjustment that could make the Indiana Fever offense even more dangerous this season. Subscribe to WNBA Shorts for weekly